Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Aaron J. Holt, back again with another React video. Now, as you guys know, I am a huge fan of the YouTube channel WatchMojo, and I've done several React videos to their videos. Let's see, I've reacted to top 10 scariest shark species, top 20 most dangerous animals on the planet, and I think, did I also, was there another one? I can't remember. If I'm forgetting another one, I think there may have been another one that I'm forgetting about. I've done a lot of React videos by now. If I'm forgetting one, I apologize. But I will be reacting to another WatchMojo video today, and this one is one that really piques my interest. It's top 10 Egyptian gods and goddesses. I am really fascinated by Egyptology, you guys. I want to learn even more about it. I am so fascinated by the language, the history, the hieroglyphics, just everything in general. And I really want to learn more. How great would it be to actually go back in time and see how they lived and learn everything about their culture? And, you know, spoiler alert, my favorite Egyptian god is Anubis. The Egyptian god who ushers souls to the afterlife. At first, he became my favorite because he was appeared as a dog man. But then later I learned that the reason that he was depicted that way is because I think it was because from what I remember, because he always had like a dog with him, I think it was. If I need to brush up on my Egyptology. He had a certain animal, like I think a dog or a jackal, associated with him, and that's the way it was with a lot of Egyptian gods. Like, Horus was associated with an eagle or a hawk, and there was also that one god that was associated with a crocodile, and there was one that was associated with a hippo. Yeah, I need to brush up on my Egyptology, you guys. It's so fascinating to me, and I really want to learn more. And so I think this would be a good place to start. So what do you say, guys? Let's get educated. Let's react. Let's check this out. Enough wasting time. We're already almost 3 minutes into this whole thing. Jeez. Full screen. Here we go. All right. In 3, 2, 1, action. Yeah, Gods of Egypt. I actually like that movie.
These are the ancient guides of the underworld and the afterlife. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Egyptian gods and goddesses. For this list, we're focusing specifically on Egyptian mythology only, meaning no pharaohs or Greek gods will be included.
You have my leave to go.
Number 10, Sobek.
Sobek. Reptile demon. Sobekites were reptile worshippers.
Easily identifiable by his crocodile head, this ancient Egyptian deity offered protection from the dangers of the Nile. And while Sobek was originally acknowledged as the actual creator of the river, and perhaps even of the world, he's primarily associated with fertility. Military and pharaonic power were also in his purview. The ancient Egyptians were known to mummify crocs with the hope of receiving special care from Sobek in the afterlife. Not the calmest of gods, but certainly one of the most respected. Sobek is sometimes referenced as an extension of both Horus and Ra. Number 9, Thoth.
Wise lord of the sacred word, we seek your counsel.
Now here's an Egyptian god known for his calm and
R.I.P.
calculating
Chadwick.
ways.
R.I.P.
Originally functioning as a moon god, Thoth was later referenced as the designer of the universe itself, while also being recognized as the mediator between good and evil. In other words, Thoth kept Egyptians in check through education, even coming to be credited with the invention of writing. A multifaceted deity to be sure, and one with either an ibis or a baboon head. Thoth inspired the beautiful Egyptian art that continues to amaze the world. Somebody had to maintain the universe, and this god made it look easy in the eyes of those who offered worship.
I've seen the world, created from sand and water. I contain all the wisdom in the universe.
Number 8. Geb.
Geb, god of earth.
He's the father of snakes and had one heck of a laugh. It was believed that Geb's booming cackles produced earthquakes, while his tears filled the Earth's oceans, sometimes connected with a divine goose, and sometimes deemed partially responsible for a world egg. Geb is usually mostly recognized for vegetation along the Nile and for being a ruler over tombs. Above all, Geb had the ultimate say as to which of the dead ascended to the sky and which remained in the earth, plagued by heavy guilt. Both a facilitator and a dangerous being, Geb could easily rock the ancient Egyptian world.
A lumbering giant, patient, deliberate, unmovable. He is Geb, god of earth.
Number 7. Set, also known as Seth.
I, Set, shall be your one true king.
As one of the sons of Geb, this Egyptian god was known to be violent. In fact, he dismembered his own brother Osiris.
Oof.
As a result, Set often feuded with Osiris' son Horus, giving rise to one of the classic tales of Egyptian mythology. Ultimately, Set complemented Horus's rule of the arable land by taking charge of the Egyptian deserts. While Set has become associated with dominating tactics, he's also been vilified for his scheming ways, either within his own family hierarchy or by trying to seduce Horus for more power.
I showed you mercy. I won't make that mistake.
At the end of the proverbial day, though, the Red Desert belonged to Set. Number 6. Horus. As mentioned, this god plays a prominent role in the Osiris myth. Respected as a god of the sky, a god of war, and even a god of hunting, Horus wore many hats on his falcon head, and the Egyptian pharaohs were known to be the human embodiment of him. When it comes to his lasting legacy in the present world, there's the Great Sphinx, which is sometimes considered to be an aspect of Horus, representing the rising sun. With various forms of Horus emerging throughout history, he's mostly regarded as a solar deity, as well as the son of Isis and Osiris, which places him as a rival to Set.
I looked up to you. Of course you did.
Number 5. Isis.
Spent eternity searching for the cut-up pieces of her dead husband.
While this Egyptian goddess has been aligned with various names and skills throughout time, the myth of Isis endures through her relationship with Horus, likely inspiring the Christian imagery of Mary and baby Jesus. The mother and son relationship played a pivotal role in the pharaoh's life, as Isis herself represents the actual throne. The flooding of the Nile River was often linked to the tears shed by Isis for her murdered brother and husband Osiris. And, along with fellow goddesses Hathor and Mut, she remains one of the most celebrated female deities of Egyptian mythology.
Isis, the Egyptian symbol of life. I meant it for your father.
What good could that old charm have done him?
Number 4. Anubis.
Anubis.
Depicts the god Anubis sailing the boat of Ra to the underworld.
Despite very few references to this god in classic Egyptian mythology, his name dates back to the Old Kingdom of approximately 2600 BC, where and when he was frequently depicted. Cited by Plutarch as the adopted son of Isis, Anubis offered protection for those in the afterlife, usually appearing with a canine head. In essence, this god had the ultimate say as to whether or not the dead could reach the underworld.
When a person died, they passed into a room. They were brought before Osiris and a panel of judges. And next to them was a massive scale. Then the god Anubis weighed their heart against Mot, the goddess of truth.
At times, this meant weighing the soul and guiding them along to their eternal fate. Recognized in art as both a jackal and wolf, Anubis is closely connected to the embalming and mummification process.
Who's that? The dog-headed figure, is that a demon?
Well, actually, that's a jackal's head. He is Anubis, the Egyptian guardian and protector of the dead.
Number 3. Ra.
He is the head of a parakeet.
It's a falcon.
Often referenced as the defining god of the Egyptian
He is the head of a
religion,
parakeet.
this sun deity held great influence by the 5th dynasty. In fact, the famous Valley of the Kings is sometimes cited as portraying representations of Ra's beams of sunlight. And as the supposed father of the gods, he ultimately merged into the deity known as Amun-Ra. Depicted in art through his relationships with Horus and Osiris, This god of the sun, underworld, and maybe even the universe made a cameo of sorts in Steven Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is just one of many reasons we remember him today. Number 2. Osiris.
Osiris, the god of life, was the beloved king of all the lands made bountiful by the Nile.
Son of either Geb or Ra, depending on the source, companion of Isis and the father of Horus, this is the god at the center of the Osirian myth. As the story goes, Osiris met his death at the hands of his own brother, only to be reassembled by Isis to give birth to Horus. In other words, this cycle of events led to Osiris becoming the god of the dead, meeting pharaohs after their demise and guiding them through a journey of spells and challenges. It's also been said that Osiris once ended the practice of cannibalism, restoring life to the Egyptians and transitioning them to a life of agriculture.
All are welcome to the afterlife. This is my legacy.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Bastet. Isn't that also Bast from referenced in Black Panther? Sekhmet. I know the name from You're Playing with the Big Boys Now.
Ta, Lord of Creation, as if the origin of the universe must forever be concealed.
Number 1. Amun-Ra. Originally known as the Hidden One and correlated with creativity, the king of gods named Amun looked after the city of Thebes around the 21st century BC. And as the creator of not only himself but also everything thereafter, his earthly extension would become Amun-Ra, which was the result of the sun god merging with an invisible deity that the Greeks associated with Zeus himself. So, Amun-Ra held a commanding presence over the day-to-day lives of Egyptians, providing a sense of calm and personal meaning to their earthly and underworld practices. He is, and always will be, the defining presence of Egyptian gods and goddesses.
It's not built on the scale of men. It's built on the scale of gods, of one god, Amun-Ra, the god of the sun.
Do you agree with our list?
No, it's more than that.
I've heard of that movie, The Pyramid.
Who do you think is the ultimate Egyptian god or goddess? For more historic top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Oof. Yeah. Oof. But yeah, like the first time I was exposed to Egyptology was obviously through movies, and specifically through the Mummy movies starring Brendan Fraser. And when I decided that Anubis was my favorite of the Egyptian gods, was through The Mummy Returns, when the Scorpion King was near death and he made a pact with Anubis to give him his armies in order to defeat his enemies, and in return he offered him up his soul to command. And he gave the Scorpion King his armies to defeat his enemies, and they looked just like Anubis. Oh man. But I actually have read this this book series. I forget who it's written by, but the first book is called Reawakened. It's an Egyptian novel where this high schooler meets this mummified prince who he and his brothers are reawakened like once every, I think, 1,000 years because of, like, you know, they were chosen by the Egyptian gods to ward off a great evil that threatens to escape from the underworld or from imprisonment within like one of the great pyramids of Egypt. And so because one of the monster's followers did something with one of the sacred canopic jars that that one of the mummy brothers, when mummification happens, their organs are removed and placed in ceramic jars. to make sure that one of the brothers can't be returned to life. One of the followers of the monster tries to find out where the brother is buried, and so tries to destroy the jars so that his organs can't be returned to him and he can't be revived, in order to defeat the monster and ensure that he remains entombed in the pyramid. And so this high schooler girl, I forget her name, it's been years since I read the novel, but she maintains that she has to go with him, and she has to give her life energy in order for him to maintain his. And so she has to, give her life energy to him to make sure that he can stay living, because without her life energy, he can't keep living without the energy from his sacred jars that have his organs. So it's quite worth the read, and I'll have to look up who it's written by, but it's like a trilogy, and I haven't read it in, let's see, when did I read it? I think I read it back in 2019, because I read it around the time I was in Midsummer Night's Dream, and I was in Midsummer Night's Dream in 2019, because I was in the short skit within the play Pyramus and Thisbe, and I was playing Thisbe, and I freaked out when I was reading the third book, and they actually made a reference to Pyramus and Thisbe. And I was like, holy crap. And I showed it to the director. I was like, holy crap, look, they mentioned Pyramus and Thisbe, and I'm playing Thisbe in the show. And so I thought that was kind of cool. So I'll look it up, and I'll put it down in the description so that you guys can go check it out. But if you have a chance to read that book series, go and read it, because it was really good. I want to go and read it again, because Egyptology, like I said, I'm really fascinated by it. And like I said, once I get hooked on something that fascinates me, I have to go and learn more. So, yeah. So, what's your guys' favorite Egyptian god? Mine is Anubis. Let me know down in the comments. Comment, what is your favorite Egyptian god or goddess? Let me know in the comments. All right. Well, that being said, I'm going to end this video here. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments below how you think I'm doing, what other videos you want me to react to. Just remember, please keep the comments kind. Also, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about my latest videos. Thanks again so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Roll the outro!